Hi everybody, my name is Mark Swan, and I will be doing my presentation on the Khyber Pass. Why the Wimpy Stay Away. A scrimmage in a border station, a canter down some dark defile. 2,000 pounds of education drops to a 10 rupee jazile. Rudyard Kipling on the Khyber Pass. Alright, so if you didn't figure that out, we are doing the Khyber Pass. We'll be going over some stuff today, like the history of the area, the geography, and pretty much what makes it a very rough and tumble place to live in. And why, effectively, the Wimpy stay away. So the location is in the northwest of Pakistan, against pretty dang close against the Afghan border. As we can see there, the closest capital to the Khyber Pass is Peshawar, and then it's Islamabad. And on the other side, it's Jalalabad and Kabul. It is a very extremely mountainous region in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and it's called the Hindu Kush Mountains. At least with the Khyber Pass, it reaches up to 35,000 feet at its highest point. Some parts of the pass are only about 3 meters wide, and historically it has provided a strategic and economic pass throughout history, as it provides one of the quickest routes from South Asia to Central Asia. Pretty much history of the area, it's throughout has been played an important part in many civilizations. Darius I of the Persian Empire, Alexander the Great, the Mughal Empire, Afghanis, and the Imperial British Empire all used this pass to either invade or defend the Indian plains. It's majorly a strategic point because it is, like we said, it's the quickest way through South Asia through Central Asia, and it's one of the few only passes through the Hindu Kush mountain, which again makes it very strategically vital. We have a local Pashtun tribe in the area called the Afridi. There is another one around there which is more Afghan-based, but it's more of a minority, and the two pretty much fight against each other, but the main one is the Afridi. They have a history of being belligerent against outside forces, so they're very protective of their lands. The first mentions of them are from the Mughal Empire's memoirs, where they was stated that they were just a rebellious tribe that needed to be taken care of, and the British also had a hard time with them during the Anglo-Afghan wars. Pretty much what happened was the Mughals got their butts kicked by these guys and also the British. Because they have such a claim on the land, they asked for a levy or a fee to get through this safely, and for their protection. But yeah, these guys are rough and tumble, and it helps with being up in the altitude and whatnot in the environment. So contemporary, so during the partition it actually saw peace. There was not many issues there. The local tribes actually supported Pakistan, so they didn't really cause too many issues. In the 1960s to 79, it was traversed by many tourists on their way to Himalayas. Something called the Hippie Trail, which started all the way up in London or wherever you connect and went all the way straight through Afghanistan, Iran, all the way through Pakistan. This was called the Hippie Trail. But for some of the encounters that these people recorded, still stated that the local tribes needed to be bribed for safe passage or paid, so that way they'd make it through. So even back then, still a little bit rough and tumble, but not as bad. It all sort of came to an end when the Soviet-Afghan war started, and it saw its share of fighting along the border, as well as arms and refugees flowed through it. And as you can see here, we've got some Mujahideen in the Khyber Pass, so they were either most likely protecting this, because this is where a lot of their supplies would probably be smuggled through, and the refugees. In the 1990s, the pass was occupied by the Taliban and other related groups, and this has caused many issues. That's why mostly the pass is still closed to this day. The tribes are a bit of a hard one with the terrorist groups, because they're either against them or protecting them, because they're all Muslims, but it makes it very hard to have stuff go through it. In between 2001 and 2012, it was a native supply route, so The tribes were being bribed to help protect it as long with the Pakistani force, but some events led to the pass being closed temporarily, and a actual Taliban attack blew up some native supplies along in Peshawar just before the Khyber Pass. So, because of its mountainous terrain, it's very hard to flush these people out, and it's really hard when you have different people, protecting or getting them out. To this day, it's still a hot zone. NATO and Pakistan forces have stepped up activities to try and rid the area of Taliban and other unpleasant forces. And unfortunately, what has happened recently is the Pakistani and Afghani forces have been clashing over the borders, and each are claiming to be harboring terrorists on their side of the border. So makes their Khyber Pass again very much a disputed zone, because they're fighting in against the border now, because they're like, well, you're doing this and you're doing that. So it makes it very hard to keep it long. But in conclusion, even if the terrorists resolved, I think it'd still be a tough place just because of the Afridi tribes and the way that they operate. But honestly, that's just the way of the Khyber Pass. And I'll just finish off with another quote. The snowbound trade of the north comes down to the market square of Peshawar town, which practically says anything that's coming from those mountains, you're going straight to Peshawar. And here are all my sources. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.